Good morning all. Today I'm looking at ThruNite's TN12 torch. It's the 2016 edition and this one has a neutral white LED. So let's remove this rubber band and see what's inside the box. Okay, here's the torch. I'll open that in just a moment. We've got instruction manual, little pouch, lanyard, a little pocket clip, and the usual set of O-rings and rubber switch cover accessories. So let's have a look at the torch. Well, here it is. So it is the ThruNite TN12 2016 edition. It's a two-switch design. There's a switch on the rear which is for on and off, and then there's this grey or silver switch here, just a click switch, and that's for changing the modes. It's a single Cree LED in there with a smooth reflector. So let's unscrew the tail cap, which has an O-ring to keep moisture out. And let's also unscrew the head section. And then you can see that this is just a piece of aluminium piping effectively. So time now to put the battery in. I've got a ThruNite 3400 milliamp hour 18650 single cell lithium battery. Let's take that and put it in the torch. So reassemble this. I think it was that way around, although it probably doesn't matter too much. Torch goes in, a battery goes in with the positive towards the head. Screw on the base and switch on, and that has come on in the lowest brightness mode, which I think is Firefly. So now I can use the mode button here on the outside to go through the other brightness levels: low, medium, high and turbo. Now strobe alert, if I press and hold the button, then it goes into strobe mode. So let's have a quick look at the user guide. It says the ThruNite TN12 2016 is the improved version of the TN12, improved user interface and 1050 lumen with one 18650 battery, a body specially designed for better single hand operation, and a new emitter XM-L2U2 to supply more beam with throw and flood. Now, interestingly, if I compare the 2016 manual with the 2014 manual, they're exactly word for word. They're both the improved version of the original TN12. They're both 1050 lumen, single 18650 battery, and they both use the XM-L2U2 Cree LED. So what actually is the difference between these two? Well, here they are side by side, the 2014 version, the 2016. Now they're identical in length. The markings on the body seem identical. The end cap switch is identical, and in fact you only see the difference when you rotate them like this. The 2014 has this rubber click switch, and the 2016 has the well, it feels more metallic. I can't tell whether it's metal or plastic, but this grey coloured click switch. Now they do look very similar from the front, although it's possible that the 2016 version has more metalwork around the LED. It looks like there's not so much around the 2014 LED. And looking at the feature sets, they are very similar indeed. We've got 1050 lumens with a Cree XM-L2U2 on both. This is the 2016 one on the right. Voltage 2.7 to 9 volts, length of 143 millimeters, 25.4, which is 1 inch diameter, 82 grams weight. Both have reverse polarity protection. Here are the modes. We've got 1050 lumens, 90 minutes on the 2014, 95 minutes on the 2016 by the look of it. 800 lumens here for high. Now, don't seem to have 800 lumens here. We've got high 370 lumens. Then we've got 280 lumens. This has 145. So it looks like they've changed the brightness levels. 20 lumens, and we now have 11 lumens, and then Firefly was 0.3 lumens for 1585 hours, and now it's 0.4 lumens for 74 days. Now the strobe mode on the 2014 is with the light on, press and hold the side switch for 1 second to enter strobe mode, 13 Hz, and that's identical to the 2016. They've just added this bit here, 1 second to strobe for signalling or blinding the bad guy's eyes. TN12 is more than an EDC. So as far as I can see, the only differences between 2014 and 2016 are the switch style, the mode select switch style, and the brightness levels in low, medium and high. Now, have we got any rain? Yes, we do. It's going to rain from midnight, quite heavily in the early hours, and then tomorrow morning, yep, it's going to rain heavily until about 8 AM. So this torch is going outside. So I've put the torch in a tray of mud. Now it's switched on, and it's going to be left switched on in Firefly mode. So let's leave it in this tray of mud overnight and come back tomorrow and see how the torch is doing. And here it is the morning after the night before. It did rain quite a bit. It's all looking a bit mucky in there. The torch is still illuminated. That's fine. It's still in Firefly mode. So let's take this out, get it cleaned up and check it over. Now, I've not really had a chance to look at this for a few days. In fact, the torch has been sat partly submerged in this tray of water for about 5 days now. So I think it's time. It's still on, still see the light there. I think it's time to take this out, dry it off, and we'll check it inside for any moisture ingress. So just give it a thorough rinse to get all the mud off it. The light's still on, you can see that shining there. Right, I've dried it off completely now. There are just little traces of moisture. There's a little bit around the switch head there. I can't quite get in there to dry it fully. Now there's no evidence of any moisture inside the glass, so I don't think any's got inside. But the thing I want to do now, and I'll have to switch it off for this of course, is take it apart and see if any has got inside the body. So let's take the end cap off and the head. There's the battery, there's the inner tube. No, I don't think that's water in there. No, I think it's just stuff that must have been in there before. No, there's no evidence of any water in there. So the torch seems to have passed the lying in a tray of water test for 5 days. And but that's not really very extreme, is it? Not really very severe. So I need to come up with something that's going to test this a bit more thoroughly. And I've had an idea. I'm going to drive over it with my car. Now if you hear a generator running, that's not me, that's just the waterboard. They happen to be digging up the road today. But let's stick this under the back wheel of the car and drive over it. Right, the torch is once again switched on, Firefly mode. I've stuck it in front of the rear wheel of my car. Now I've put a little bit of blue tack under the central section. It's to support it a little bit, but also to stop the torch flying out when the wheel runs over it. I may attempt to go over it in both directions. I'll have a think about that. But right, okay, let's get in the car and drive over it. Well, that didn't go entirely according to plan because the torch didn't stay put in the blue tack. I've now got a torch that's, well, it looks very scraped and battered. Not bent though, it's still straight. The blue tack stuck to my tyre. It's still on and it still works in all 5 brightness modes. So the torch survived. I'm just going to clean it up a little bit inside and see quite how badly scuffed this torch is. So just wash all the dirt off it so that all we're looking at is the scuffing to the anodizing. I imagine it's breached the anodizing and gone through to the bare metal. Let's have a look at it on the bench. Well, it is badly scratched. There are some fairly deep gouges where the grit and gravel have pushed through the black anodizing and gone through to the aluminium. Now, interestingly, the push button is completely unaffected, and I think that's because it's recessed in this section here, so it didn't actually get scraped along the tarmac. The rear section's even worse. It's very badly scraped and pitted, but the torch still works fine. All brightness levels are still good. So what I'm going to do is open it up because I'm particularly interested in whether this central section, which looks quite thin, has suffered any deformation, if it's deformed at all. So let's unscrew this rear section. Take the battery out and let's unscrew the front section. And I'm looking for any signs that this deformed, and I don't think it did. Both ends seem completely circular. Let's have a look from the other end. No, it looks like the shape of the metal tube has stood up perfectly well. Of course, it's scraped along these rims here, not actually on this part of the body. So it looks like the design of the torch is such that where it needs to be tough, it is tough. And this has survived really rather well, I think. So here it is on ThruNite's website. It's the TN12 2016 version. This one's in neutral white, currently priced at $54.95. Now I noticed that there's a few things here about upgrades from the 2014 version. Upgraded stainless steel side switch to make the operation more sensitive. LED bulb in the head is more centralized. There's an improved circuit design, makes the brightness difference between high and turbo more obvious. And a thicker light head design makes the flashlight more drop resistant and, well, apparently more resistant to being dragged along by a car. So there it is, that's the ThruNite TN12 2016 edition. My one is no longer pretty, but it's pretty tough. Cheerio.